in just 127 seconds. One classified folder would destroy the most powerful legal career in America. Senator Dick Durbin didn't expect complete silence. Pam Bondi didn't expect total exposure. Cameras captured every trembling denial. The Senate watched justice unfold in real time. December 3, 2024, 2-17. P.M. Room S, 216 of the Hart Senate. Office building crackled with the kind of electric tension that veteran Capitol Hill reporters recognize immediately. The mahogany-paneled Senate Judiciary Committee chamber buzzed with pre-hearing. Energy as Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi adjusted her navy blazer, unaware that the next 127 seconds would end everything she'd built over 3 decades. Behind wire-rimmed glasses, Senator Dick Durbin shuffled through a manila folder marked Confidential DOJ Transition Files. The 80-year-old Illinois Democrat moved with the methodical precision of someone who had spent months building an airtight case against institutional deception. What he'd discovered in those transition documents would expose the biggest Justice Department conspiracy in modern history. Bondi sat at the witness table with practiced confidence. Her leather briefcase containing prepared responses about prosecutorial independence and constitutional principles. As Florida's former Attorney General and Trump's longtime defender, she'd navigated hostile questioning before. But today, she faced something entirely different. Documented evidence of systematic coordination that reached the highest levels of government, the press gallery filled beyond capacity. CNN had cleared afternoon programming for live coverage. Fox News anchors prepared for what insiders promised would be nuclear-level revelations. Twitter buzzed with speculation about mysterious documents that could derail Bondi's nomination within hours, but none of them knew about the Trump transition. Files Chairman Chuck Grassley called the hearing to order with unusual gravity. The committee will examine the nominee's qualifications and commitment to Justice Department independence. The formal words couldn't mask the explosive nature of what was coming. Bondi opened with her prepared statement, voice steady with legal confidence that would soon prove catastrophically misplaced. Senators, I'm honored to discuss my commitment to impartial justice and constitutional governance. The Justice Department under my leadership would operate with complete independence from political influence. His fingers drumming silently on the classified folder containing evidence that would soon turn her world upside down. The storm was 47 minutes away. Republican senators spent their time lobbying, carefully prepared questions about crime statistics and federal priorities. Bondi responded with polished talking points about record prosecutions and constitutional principles, looking comfortable, professional, exactly like central casting would order for an attorney general nominee. Democratic members were more pointed but still predictable. Questions about civil rights enforcement, voting protections, abortion, access, standard confirmation territory that Bondi navigated with skill, honed through dozens of similar confrontations over the years. But Durbin hadn't asked a single question. He sat quietly, occasionally making notes, letting his colleagues exhaust their time while he prepared for surgical precision that would expose years of coordinated deception. Then, at exactly 3:04 p.m. Eastern Time, everything changed. Ms. Bondi, Durbin began, his voice carrying the measured authority of decades in oversight hearings. I want to discuss your transition coordination with President Trump's team regarding Justice Department priorities. Bondi's shoulders tensed imperceptibly. Senator, I've had standard discussions about Justice Department operations, all conducted through proper channels. Standard discussions, Durbin repeated slowly, opening the manila folder with deliberate ceremony. Let me ask you specifically about the Trump prosecution defense strategy files. Temperature in the chamber seemed to drop several degrees. Bondi's relaxed posture stiffened, like a prey animal sensing immediate danger. Senator, I'm not familiar with any files using that terminology. Durbin smiled with the predatory satisfaction of a prosecutor who had just obtained a confession. Ms. Bondi, this is Justice Department Transition Document, TT 202-40847. Dated November 15th, 2024. Let me read the subject line. Coordination Protocol, Trump Legal Defense. Integration with DOJ Operations. The revelation hit the chamber like a nuclear explosion. Camera flashes erupted like lightning strikes. Reporters began frantically typing as they processed the implications of systematic coordination between Trump's legal defense and the Justice Department. Bondi's face drained of color as classified evidence was read into the public record. Senator, if such documents exist, they would represent standard transition planning, not operational coordination. Standard transition planning doesn't include this. Ms. Bondi. Durbin lifted another document, ensuring every camera captured the official DOJ letterhead and classification markings. This is your personal communication to Trump Transition Coordinator Boris Epstein, dated November 22nd. Quote, DOJ independence rhetoric for public consumption only. Actual coordination protocols attached for sensitive cases involving DJT. The chamber erupted. Republican committee members immediately began shouting points of order, demanding to know how classified transition documents had been obtained. Chairman Grassley banged his gavel repeatedly, trying to restore order through the chaos. But through it all, every camera remained fixed on Pam Bondi's face, capturing the moment when one of the most powerful legal figures in America realized her career was over. Senator Bondi stammered, "Those communications are taken completely out of context." Out of context? Durbin's voice rose with controlled outrage. Ms. Bondi, let me read your follow-up message. Jack Smith cases require immediate dismissal upon confirmation. January 6 prosecutions terminated within first week. Hunter Biden investigation accelerated to maximum priority. The systematic nature of the coordination was staggering. This wasn't just political preference. It was documented proof of plans to weaponize federal law enforcement for partisan purposes. Social media exploded instantly. Hashtag Bondophiles began trending within minutes, followed by hashtag DOJ Coordination and hashtag Trump Justice. Twitter servers strained under the volume of shares and comments as Americans processed that their next attorney general had systematically planned to corrupt federal law enforcement. But Durbin was just getting started at 3:06 p.m. He removed a document that would trigger Bondi's complete psychological breakdown. Ms. Bondi, this is Department of Justice Ethics Review Memorandum, dated November 28th. Let me read the key findings. His voice carried the moral authority of someone exposing systematic betrayal of constitutional principles. Quote, nominee Bondi's documented coordination with Trump legal defense team constitutes clear violations of judicial independence principles. Recommend immediate disqualification from consideration. The ethics review was the smoking gun that connected Bondi's coordination directly to Justice Department professionals' concerns. Ms. Bondi, your own department's ethics officials determined you were unfit for this position. Were you planning to hide this review from the committee? At 3:07 p.m., exactly 127 seconds after Durbin's devastating document presentation began, Pam Bondi experienced complete professional collapse that would shock America and end her nomination in the most public meltdown in confirmation history. This is outrageous political theater. Bondi exploded, shooting to her feet. You're weaponizing transition documents to destroy qualified nominees. The sudden eruption sent shockwaves through the chamber. Attorney General nominees don't scream at Senate committees. The loss of professional control was unprecedented and devastating. Senator Durbin, how dare you question my integrity while engaging in partisan destruction of constitutional governance? Durbin remained calm, almost maddeningly so, in the face of Bondi's growing agitation. Ms. Bondi, I'm simply reading your own written communications. Are you claiming these documents are fabricated? I'm claiming this entire process is a sham. Bondi screamed back, her face flushed red with rage and panic. While you attack qualified nominees, real criminals walk free. The screaming match continued for a full minute, unprecedented in confirmation hearing history. C-SPAN cameras captured every second as America watched their Attorney General, Nominee completely lose control under the weight of evidence she couldn't deny. You call planned coordination. With Trump's legal defense qualification, Durbin roared back with devastating finality. You call systematic plans to corrupt federal prosecution's integrity? Bondi's response revealed the complete collapse of her professional facade. We protect constitutional governance from partisan witch hunts. You're destroying American justice. The chamber erupted in chaos. Security officers moved toward the witness table as committee members shouted for order. Chairman Grassley banged his gavel repeatedly. But the damage was absolute. As Bondi stood trembling with rage, Durbin delivered his final, devastating blow. Ms. Bondi, your own documents prove you plan to corrupt the Justice Department to protect Donald Trump. That's not constitutional governance. That's the destruction of everything it stands for. The moral clarity was undeniable. At 3:09 p.m., Chairman Grassley suspended the hearing as Bondi was escorted from the chamber by Capitol Police. Her nomination destroyed by 127 seconds of evidence. She couldn't explain, and rage she couldn't control. Within hours, both Republican and Democratic senators were calling for immediate withdrawal of her nomination. Even conservative members who had planned to support her couldn't defend someone who had screamed at Congress, while being confronted with evidence of systematic coordination to corrupt federal law enforcement by evening. Facing overwhelming bipartisan opposition and certain confirmation defeat, Pam Bondi withdrew her nomination. The woman who had promised Justice Department independence had instead become the symbol of its planned corruption. The 127 seconds when Durbin exposed Bondi's coordination became a watershed moment in confirmation. Hearings' documentary evidence had overcome institutional secrecy, and systematic corruption had been forced into daylight. Sometimes the strongest weapon against institutional betrayal isn't political power or media attention, it's classified documents properly obtained by someone who understands that some truths are too important to hide. What happens when documented coordination meets congressional investigation? Can political careers survive when documents tell the truth? Pam Bondi learned these lessons when 127 seconds of evidence destroyed a nomination. It's built on systematic deception at the expense of constitutional governance. The Trump files changed everything. The 127 seconds changed history.